Okay, so since rabbinic Jews have hold to divine revelation, certain beliefs necessary for salvation, can they be saved if invincibly ignorant? Okay, so this is a good question. Per se, no, because while yes, they have been handed down divine revelation, and this handing down of divine revelation comes through Moses and the prophets. The what's called the conditio sine qua non, so the condition without which something cannot happen of the communication of revelation is the authority of the Catholic Church derived from the apostolic commission given by Christ to the apostles. So the condition of the condition is necessary for the application of the form to the thing. That's what like a condition is. So, for example, the condition for the application of uh, the condition for something burning by the application of fire, like is the very application of fire. Like the placing the flame in proximity to the thing which is engulfed. That placing right there is the conditio sine qua non, so the condition without which that could not happen. So when it comes to divine revelation, it is the authority of the Catholic Church. So when it comes to Protestants, there is a certain way in which they can still be said to actually have the conditio sine qua non, according to most theologians, at least that I've read. I don't know anything to the contrary of this, because they still hold basically the faith as promulgated through the apostolic mission given to the church in some sense. So it's still kind of received through the same condition, even if it's not done in a way that's conscious and reflexive. It's kind of the same way as like, oh, the scriptures are the property of the church, and the scriptures are valid. They are somehow given by the church. So it's like even a Protestant who's receiving the scriptures are receiving something which is handed down by the church, even if they do not like consciously you know receive this. But when it comes to Judaism, they don't have that same connection to the living magisterium of the church. So per se, so like in accordance with the general way in which things occur, no. Although per accidents it would be possible in extraordinary circumstances. So these extraordinary circumstances would basically come down to some sort of extraordinary illumination from God, which is debated between theologians over whether this extraordinary illumination is, no, it occurs with the explicit knowledge of the Trinity and the Incarnation, or maybe it could occur without it. So yeah, that it's a area fraught with debates. But if you're talking about like per se ordinary, no, that's just it would need be outside the order of things that happens, and therefore it would need to go to means that just haven't been revealed to us, and therefore we can't really comment over de facto whether they actually exist. We just say de jure, if it happens to be in such a situation, then it would be true. If that makes sense. That's kind of where I go when it comes to like the question of, because like the question of good faith heretics and good faith schismatics being saved. Like I think that's quite an easy one. And we've had a very strong, I would say since actually the patristic age, we've had a very strong intuition about this. Sometimes indirectly, sometimes directly, sometimes implicitly, sometimes explicitly. But like that one's pretty clear. Once you're actually, knowing what to look for and reading reading things in their proper light. But when it comes to like those outside of, the Christian dispensation of revelation whatsoever, whether it be people receiving primitive revelation, like you have, in all, all the sons of Noah, there's somehow primitive revelation which is passed down, or those who received another, like the first dispensation of revelation, like the Jews and Samaritans and others like that, or you consider those like the Muslims who have certain perverted aspects of revelation which get passed down to them. Once you get to like outside the order of the Christian economy, it's always going to be the answer of like, okay, here's the principles of what would be an act of faith which is necessary for salvation, but that's outside of the order in which God has established. So therefore, will it happen? I don't know. I don't think so, but it might happen. It's possible. But it's kind of like a similar question to I like to give it as an analogous example. It's a similar question to the fate of unbaptized infants. Like the order of salvation that God has established is that for those without the use of reason, in order to be saved, water baptism, right? They can't make there can't be baptism of desire for infants because they don't have the faculties to make, an act of desire for the sacraments. So when it comes to infants, yeah, the only point it means is baptism in reality, or some will say also baptism of blood. But obviously, we know that outside of the order which God has established, God could, um, bestow sanctifying grace on them extraordinarily, extra sacramentally. It's possible, but it just hasn't been revealed to us, so I don't know. But what I do know, is when it comes to those individuals who are outside the Christian economy, revelation is necessary. Revelation in the strict sense is necessary. Revelation of that God is and rewards those who are just, the supernatural order, like that is necessary. You go through the lines of all of the things that are necessary. Are there anybody who actually, God decides to elevate in that way? I don't know. So de jure, like I give the outline of facts, but de facto, I don't know. But it would be incorrect reasoning to say because the Jews have received divine revelation through Moses and the prophets, that therefore, through an assent to what is contained in them, they can actually make an act of faith.